Have you ever thought that moving into a nursing home would bring you ease and better care, only to find that things aren't what you imagined? I once believed that a nursing home was the ideal place to spend old age in peace. But after just a few months, I began to realize things no one had ever told me directly: a sense of isolation, loss of control, and a loneliness that gnawed at me day by day. This story isn't mine alone. William, 74 years old, a former teacher from Ohio, also thought a nursing home would be a reward for his years of hard work. But now, he recounts the days of having to eat on a fixed schedule, not being allowed to choose his own meals, and quietly hoping each night that someone would come visit. The danger is this: many people like William and me only realize the truth after we've already moved in, when leaving is no longer easy. Losing physical strength, losing our former homes, and losing connection with society make returning to independent living nearly impossible. However, you still have a choice. This article will reveal 6 difficult truths you need to know before considering a move into a nursing home. From losing independence, feeling forgotten, to declining health and a loss of purpose. If you're approaching retirement age or have a loved one considering this decision, read this carefully and share it with them. This isn't just information. It's a truth that may change how you view aging. Have you ever thought about what life in a nursing home would be like? Leave a comment and let me hear your story, or the story of someone close to you. Now let's uncover 6 truths that are hard to hear, but crucial to know. In the later stages of life, the most precious thing isn't just health or material wealth. It's the feeling of being in control of your own life. Yet for many older adults, the decision to move into a nursing home unintentionally takes that away, little by little. Have you ever imagined being woken up at the exact same time every day, eating from a preset menu, and having to report if you want to leave your room for just a few minutes? It's only after entering a nursing home that many realize personal freedom is no longer a given. In most nursing homes, daily routines are strictly structured for the sake of efficient management and safety. While this might sound reasonable, this very efficiency unintentionally turns residents into cogs in a system where everything from bedtime, mealtime, and even walking outdoors is scheduled. When people lose the right to choose their favorite meals, can't wear what they want, or must ask permission just to use the phone, they begin to lose the sense of being themselves. This shift isn't just a matter of routine, it's a psychological blow, making many feel more controlled than cared for. But that doesn't mean things can't change. Some newer nursing homes in states like California, Oregon, and Massachusetts are experimenting with the care partner model, where residents help design their own schedules, choose their favorite activities, and have a say in how they're cared for. It's a first step toward restoring independence, not by leaving the facility, but by creating an environment where older adults still feel they are the ones in charge. If you or a loved one is considering moving into a nursing home, be sure to ask important questions before making a decision. Does the facility allow personalized schedules? Can residents choose their meals or suggest activities based on their interests? How flexible is the policy around leaving the premises? Doing thorough research can help you choose a place that not only cares for the body, but also respects the autonomy of the aging individual. Whether you've already moved into a nursing home or are still considering it, remember, personal freedom should not be forfeited just because of age. By speaking up, staying informed, and demanding dignity, older adults can reclaim or preserve their precious independence. Yet physical decline is only part of the loss. What often hurts even more is the feeling of being left behind, when loved ones begin to visit less and less. Nothing cuts deeper than the feeling of being forgotten, especially when it comes from the very people you love the most. For many older adults living in nursing homes, what hurts isn't the unfamiliar bed or the cold meals, but the hopeful eyes gazing toward the door every weekend, only to quietly turn away when no one comes. Have you ever heard someone say, "We'll visit often," before placing a loved one in a nursing home? That promise is usually made with the best of intentions. But then life gets busy. Work, children, household responsibilities. Visits become less frequent, from weekly to monthly, and sometimes reduced to rushed, guilt-tinged phone calls. That absence isn't just the lack of a meeting. It's a fracture in the family bond, a sense of being pushed to the margins of a world you were once at the center of. In the enclosed routines of a nursing home, where every day feels the same, memory becomes the only anchor of identity. But when memories are no longer sparked by hugs, familiar laughter, or even a heartfelt conversation, loneliness begins to eat away at the soul faster than any illness. Yet not everyone resigns themselves to that silence. Many communities are working to change this reality. Some nursing homes in Minnesota, New York, and Texas have launched Family Connect programs, encouraging family participation in group activities, offering tech classes so older adults can make video calls, send messages, and even stay active on social media. Each small effort helps seniors not only stay connected with their loved ones, but also remain engaged in the flow of life. If you have a loved one living in a nursing home, take the initiative to schedule regular visits. Don't wait for special occasions. A short visit, a handwritten card, or even a brief call can brighten an entire monotonous day. And if you live far away, turn to technology. There are many user-friendly apps now bridging the generational gap. Being forgotten is not an inevitable part of aging. When we take time to be present, even for a few minutes, we're telling our parents and grandparents, "You still matter to me." And sometimes that alone is enough to help someone feel like they are truly living, not merely existing. But loneliness doesn't always come from the outside. Even with visitors, another quiet ache can creep in: the loss of purpose, when there's nothing to look forward to upon waking each morning. There's something rarely mentioned when it comes to aging: the emptiness that comes from having nothing to look forward to each morning. For many older adults living in nursing homes, what they lose isn't just their old house or familiar garden, but the sense of purpose that once made each day worthwhile. Think back to the feeling of finishing a simple task, like making breakfast, watering plants, or neatly folding a blanket. These seemingly small acts were, in fact, the milestones that shaped the day, a reason to get out of bed, move around, and feel useful. But in the nursing home environment, where everything is already done for you, it's easy to lose your role in life. No more meals to cook for others, no one to take care of, no one who needs your help. Over time, one's presence starts to fade into the background. Many begin to ask themselves, "If I disappeared, would anyone even notice?" That question, when repeated silently, eats away at the will to live, like termites, quietly weakening a house that appears sturdy from the outside. However, not every place makes residents feel like a burden. Increasingly, more nursing homes are recognizing the importance of maintaining a sense of purpose. They offer classes where residents can tend to gardens on the premises, invite them to teach life skills to younger generations, or involve them in community activities like writing cards for cancer patients or knitting scarves for the homeless. Every small act is a reaffirmation. I can still contribute. I still have value. If you're caring for an elderly loved one, whether in a nursing home or at home, try asking a simple question. What would you like to do today? And truly listen. It could be folding laundry, cooking a favorite dish, or simply telling stories to the grandchildren. Let them feel needed, not out of obligation, but because they genuinely bring something good to others. Old age doesn't mean uselessness. On the contrary, it's a time for passing down, sharing, and inspiring, if given the chance. When someone feels they still matter, they still want to live. And when there's still a desire to live, the mind and body tend to follow. And then one day, when they wake up with even a small anticipation, today, I have something to do. That alone is a quiet, yet profound victory. But if purpose is the fire within, then health is the wind that keeps it alive. And sadly, health is often the first to decline in the passive, closed-off environment of a nursing home. People often believe that nursing homes are the ideal places to ensure the health of older adults, with on-site nurses, access to medication, and controlled diets. But in reality, many residents witness their health decline rapidly, sometimes just within a few months of moving in. Have you ever noticed that when you no longer cook for yourself, walk around regularly, or even just get up to fold a blanket each morning, your body begins to forget how to function? In a nursing home environment, where every activity is assisted and monitored, this happens more frequently than you might think. When everything is done for them, older adults lose both the opportunity and the motivation to engage in the small but crucial movements that keep the body active. Medical studies have shown that the loss of daily physical activity is one of the leading causes of rapid functional decline in the elderly. What's frightening is that this decline often happens silently, going from walking independently to needing a walker, from showering alone to requiring full assistance. Many residents enter a facility in good health, but within months find themselves in a wheelchair, completely dependent on caregivers. However, not all nursing homes lead to passivity. In some states like Florida, Arizona, and Washington, care centers are experimenting with a variety of physical activity programs, from gentle yoga, dancing, group walks, to age-appropriate movement games. Some even incorporate music therapy and meditation to boost both physical and mental well-being. If you're looking for a nursing home for a loved one or considering moving in yourself, research their physical activity programs thoroughly. Ask whether residents are encouraged to move daily. Are there trainers or physical therapists on staff? Every small movement is a vital step toward preserving physical strength and maintaining independence in daily life. Health isn't just the absence of illness. It's the ability to control your body, care for yourself, and feel truly alive. When an older adult can still walk on their own, choose their clothes, or pour a glass of water, they maintain their belief in themselves. And from that belief comes motivation to stay healthy. A weak body can often recover, but a mind that has given up is much harder to restore. Still, there are forms of decline that can't be measured by blood pressure or step counters. It's when someone no longer has personal space, no longer feels respected, and begins to feel like a full-time patient. One of the most difficult things to talk about when living in a nursing home is the loss of privacy and dignity. No one prepares you for this. No one tells you that you may have to share your living space with a stranger, or that someone will touch your body every day simply because that's part of the care routine. Have you ever imagined a day when bathing, dressing, or even using the restroom would require someone else's assistance? Not because you can't do it yourself, but because the facility requires it for the sake of safety. For many older adults in nursing homes, this isn't just inconvenient, it's deeply humiliating, painful, and a profound loss of autonomy. Privacy, something that once felt like a basic right, suddenly becomes a privilege. Many nursing homes are designed with shared rooms, thin partitions, or no barriers at all. Personal sounds, food smells, reading lights, everything has to be negotiated with a stranger simply because you can't afford a private room. Worse still, sensitive moments like changing diapers, getting dressed, or receiving hygiene assistance often happen in public view, handled without discretion. Over time, the person receiving care stops feeling like an individual and starts feeling like just another patient to manage. However, not all facilities disregard personal dignity. In several progressive nursing homes across states like Vermont, California, and Illinois, the dignity-centered care model is being implemented. Staff are trained in sensitive communication, residents are allowed to choose a regular caregiver, and privacy and grace are prioritized in every interaction. These caregivers understand that healthcare isn't just about maintaining physical health, it's about preserving humanity. If you're looking for a nursing home for a loved one, or currently living in one, don't hesitate to ask direct questions. Do residents have the right to choose their caregivers? Are private rooms or minimum personal space available? Are staff trained in respectful and discreet care? Dignity isn't about luxury. It lies in how a person is treated, especially in their most private moments. And no matter our age or circumstances, every one of us deserves to have that dignity protected. Yet, when independence is lost and then privacy is taken away, there remains one final, painful realization. Leaving a nursing home is not as easy as you once thought. Many people move into a nursing home holding on to a quiet belief: if it doesn't work out, I can always go back home. They see it as a temporary solution, to recover after an illness, to ease the burden on their children, or simply to give it a try. But soon, they come to a hard truth. Leaving a nursing home is not as easy as it seems. Have you ever thought about what would happen if after a few months you wanted to return home? Is your old house still there? Are your belongings still intact? Is your bank account sufficient to hire in-home care? The reality is, many have sold their homes, transferred assets, or simply lost the ability to care for themselves by the time they consider leaving. Each day in a nursing home, health may decline, self-care skills erode, and the mind grows more accustomed to being served, making the idea of going back little more than a memory. Families, too, are no longer as prepared as they once were. They've adjusted their lives to the absence of their elderly loved one. The room has been rented out, finances reorganized, and daily schedules no longer allow for caregiving. And then, the bitter realization comes: even if one wants to leave, there may no longer be anywhere to return to, physically or emotionally. However, there is still hope for those who recognize this early. In states like Colorado, Maine, and Oregon, transitional care programs are being developed to help older adults return home. Non-profit organizations assist with financial planning, finding home caregivers, and creating opportunities for seniors to live independently again, even if it's just for a few hours a day or a few days a week. If you're considering entering a nursing home, plan for a possible exit from the start. Retain ownership of your home. Avoid transferring assets too quickly, and most importantly, Keep your social network intact, from neighbors and friends to senior support communities. Having a place to return to, someone to check in with, and a clear plan B can be the lifeline that prevents you from feeling trapped later on. Because life in a nursing home doesn't have to be a one-way journey with no return. But in order to have a way back, you must prepare in advance while you're still healthy, clear-minded, and able to choose. Aging can still be intentional if you don't hand over all the decision-making power to others. And now, having walked through all 6 truths, from loss of independence, being forgotten, losing purpose, declining health, diminished dignity, to the difficulty of leaving, perhaps you'll agree, a nursing home isn't a peaceful haven for everyone. But with awareness, preparation, and a firm grip on your choices, you can still make your later years a journey of autonomy, no matter where you live. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my reflections. In a world that moves faster every day, your willingness to pause, to reflect on the realities faced by older adults, perhaps even your own future, is truly something to be cherished. We've just walked through 6 difficult but necessary truths: the loss of independence, the feeling of being forgotten, the loss of purpose, declining health, the erosion of privacy and dignity, and finally, the harsh reality that leaving a nursing home is far from easy. Each point is not just an issue, it's a wake-up call about how society is treating those who once built, nurtured, and sacrificed for the next generation. Now, I want to hear from you. After listening to this podcast, what resonated with you the most? Have you or a loved one experienced any of these truths firsthand? What would you do differently if one day you had to make the decision to move into a nursing home? Share your thoughts in the comments below. You're not just telling your story, you're helping shift perspectives for others who may be silently facing the same questions. If you found this content helpful, don't hesitate to hit like, share it with family, friends, or anyone nearing the later chapters of life. They need to hear this before it's too late. You can also subscribe to make sure you don't miss future episodes full of honest and meaningful insights. I hope this episode not only helped you understand the darker side of nursing homes, but also inspired you and those you care about to approach aging with greater courage, clarity, and intention. Remember, growing old should not be a journey of resignation. It can and should be a path of freedom, dignity, and connection. It's never too late to reclaim that.